Hey all, Hibber here. So today we're back and we're checking out the Tiger 59 and we're playing it on iPad, just to make it a little bit more difficult than it already is. So my build here is a special build. I'm using ther, and yes, he is a destroyer commander, I don't care. No fly zone is a skill we need. Look at me now. You can pick fragile threat, but you're giving out 10% of your hit points, so I'm going with look at me now. I don't like debuffs. Perceptive gives you a little bit extra torpedo detectability. The other perks are pretty much useless, they're all destroyer perks, and we don't have any torpedoes either. Smoke on the water, like helps you with your smoke. And then the secret weapon, which is Smokeathon. This is like a totally overpowered skill, and I don't know why it's still in the game, but there it is. You need to have the commander at 16.4, so fully leveled for this skill to be useful, right? So Kuznetsov as an inspiration along with Mikawa for some extra concealment. So as you might have noticed, this is not an agile build. I do run this ship with agile builds as well, but I also like this build here. So this is very specialized ship, right? And it's super fun to play. It's one of the most fun ships in the game. It has healed, it has 4 smokes with this build here, right? Keep that in mind. And we have 2 radars. I wish I could somehow give it 3, but not with this commander here, unfortunately. With the agile build, I can have 3 radars, right? So steering gears and concealment system. We don't have double rudder on the ship here because we need the concealment for this build here. And other than that, it's Minotaur guns on the ship, right? It's a super fast reload and a concealment of 8.7 kilometers. So you can hide really well in the ship here. You can get into really good spots by using that concealment, which is exactly how you should play this ship here. Because one of the big reasons I really enjoy this ship here is because it's not really about damage. It's about, well, pretty much everything else. So a lot of people say that this is a crap ship and they hate playing it, and well, that's just too bad, because this is definitely not a crap ship. It's one of the best ships in the game. It is a bit situational, yes, and it does tend to do better on domination maps, but other than that, this is great fun to play. I really enjoy this ship here, and I know there's a few other people who enjoy it, and mostly because it is a challenge, right? Even with this build here, which is, you know, a little bit cheating, pretty much. I mean, it's way more difficult with an agile build, right? But with this smoke build here, you are still in for a challenge. So although I have 8.7 concealment, I'm getting spotted here on my way into the cap. So what this ship here excels at is destroyer support, okay? And destroyer support, that happens where the destroyers are. It doesn't happen 13 kilometers away or something like that with some kind of weird range build. No, that's not how it works. You gotta get in there just like an agile cruiser. You just use your concealment. In this case here, it's exactly the same approach. Get into the cap and support your DDs. You see how the Fubuki is running away, and that's exactly what we want. So I'm not smoking up yet because I want to get into the cap. I want to be able to grab this cap here. I want to make sure that if the destroyers have to run away for some reason, they can do that and we'll still get the cap. Of course, I'm going to take a little bit of a punishment for this play here, but it doesn't matter. Look at my heal. I can just heal it all back. So I'll pretty much be back to what? 85% health or something like that after pulling a stunt like this. So yeah, that's what you want to do in Tiger. This is a very aggressive ship. Aggressive support ship, I should probably say. So now we gotta avoid all the torpedoes that are of course coming my way here. But once that is done, well, this cap here belongs to me, because no one can get in here without getting spotted by me. I still have my radar ready, I haven't used it yet. So any destroyer trying to sneak in here is, well, in big trouble, because I have Minotaur guns and I'm going to make very short work of them. So now everyone's sitting outside the cap and they're like, oh no, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And you know, it's actually not that difficult because Tiger doesn't have torpedoes, right? So all you got to do is just rush the ship in here in its smoke. Of course, that's easier said than done because I have a lot of battleship backup here, and that's, well, that's exactly why no one is rushing me. So of course you have to set these situations up right, and you know, as a solo player you got to rely on what your team thinks is right at that particular moment. And in this case here we also have a pretty bad red team, so there's not much challenge to it. But you know, the gist of it should be obvious to pretty much anyone. It's a high skill ship, meaning that there's almost unlimited potential in this ship here if you know what you're doing. And there's a lot more street cred in getting number 1 on the leaderboard in a Tiger 59 than there is in a Helena or some other, you know, wanker ship. This is definitely not a wanker ship. This is probably the exact opposite of a wanker ship, because this is a skill ship. Another downside to the ship, and there's quite a lot of downsides to the ship here, is that it doesn't have sonar, right? So I'm quite lucky. I have a destroyer to spot torpedoes for me. It makes my work easier, but it is difficult sitting in here in smoke without a sonar to give you a heads up on incoming torpedoes, right? So you always have to be ready for that. And of course, your guns, well, they really only work on broadside targets, if that be battleships, cruisers, or destroyers. Like a head-on destroyer or like a bow or stern-on destroyer, as it's called, you're gonna have a hard time doing any sort of, you know, damage to it. So you really have to keep that in mind as well. When the destroyers are spotted, if you use your radar to it, you should do it when you believe that they are broadside to you, because all they have to do is turn away, really, and you can't really do much damage because you don't have high explosive shells either. And that's not a bad thing. I actually prefer ships that have, you know, British AP only or SAP shells. I'm not a big fan of HE shells. The AP shells work beautifully. I mean, they are the British version with a short fuse. So once you get those broadsides, you're just gonna go through the hit points very, very quickly. And like I said, this red team here is not the best team. I don't think there's anyone with more than 800 XP on this team here. But anyway, the approach should be fairly obvious here. So someone, the higher guy, grabs the schooner there. Okay, fair enough. But what these AP shells do well is Citadel. I've already got a bunch of Citadels in this game here. But even at you know, fairly long distances, you can Citadel, especially Japanese cruisers, fairly easily. And you know, just remember, if you're shooting at French cruisers, just remember that they have that spaced armor, so you have to aim under the turrets to actually get Citadels. Otherwise, you're gonna get nothing out of it. So here you can see my smoke in action. Like, my smoke runs out, and I really only have to wait 1 or 2 seconds, and then the next smoke is ready. Now, of course, you could change the inspirations on your commander and probably eliminate that little hole in the smoke there, but it doesn't really matter much. I just, you know, I stop firing just before my smoke is going to run out, and hopefully I'll go dark, and then I can just wait that 1.5 seconds and pop the next smoke. I think that's better, but of course, anything that you want to do, you just do, really. So that's pretty much the end of the battle here. See, they have a whopping 70 points, and you know, there's just 2 of them left. So if you got some doubloons and you don't know what to spend them on, I highly recommend that you get Tiger 59, because it's just so different from anything else in the game. Perhaps Belfast is a little bit like the same, but then on the other hand, not the same at all, right? Because you know, Tiger 59 is definitely a challenge, and you know, that's why it's fun. So highly recommend this ship here, and this Omono here, he's gonna get a very nasty Citadel as well. So get to those broadsides, right, in Tiger. That's what you want. These are Minotaur guns, like I said. So anything bow on or stern on is just a waste of time, really. Superstructure, of course, is always a good thing to hit. So what's what I'm doing on battleships, but you know, it's gonna give you tiny amounts of damage, really. And you know, high damage games, it's not really the point of Tiger 59. If you get 100,000 damage, you should be happy. That's quite high for this ship here. I don't even know what my record is, but it's nowhere, probably 120 or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I have a few other Tiger 59 videos you should probably watch if you're thinking about this ship here, because I highly recommend it. So that's it, nearly 3000 XP, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you out there.